he said he had a choice to make. The first thing he could have done is call the manager of that specific Starbucks and tell them that the light was out. But what he chose to do instead, and what I do, is I was talking to Div, who runs our marketing team, and as we are ramping up, I have him hiring a bunch of people. And the main thing I told him was, you got to get these people to work as efficiently as you would, and then you can focus on just strategic work, using your mind and telling people what to do instead of doing the work. And this was something he attempted, and now he's succeeding at it. But when he asked this question, I knew I had to answer it in a video. And that question is, how do you delegate and not stress out? I'm a pretty laid back dude, and you might be wondering, how do I do this, right? Because our team across all of our company, I'm just looking at this whiteboard that's got all our companies on it. Our team across all of our companies now is, it's over 40 people. I don't even know how many people work for us now. So how do I do that, right? How do you delegate with no stress? How do you do it? Let's figure it out together. First thing, you have to own the fact and accept the fact that failures are gonna happen, okay? That means stuff's gonna go wrong. So for instance, Div outsourced giving YouTube notes on these specific videos that you're watching. He used to give all these notes to the editors and they would improve the videos. Then he hired a producer on Upwork to give notes on the videos so he wouldn't have to. And the notes were horrific. And the video that he got was unusable. And he ended up having to stay up till, 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever. He ended up staying awake until the early morning hours to fix this mistake. And you can either get mad about that or just accept that that happens. Anytime you hire somebody to do something for you that you would normally do, the first couple times it's gonna be bad. There's a story I like from Howard Schultz's book, Onward. He's the founder of Starbucks. And he talks about one time he was walking down the street in Seattle and he sees a Starbucks sign, the neon sign of Starbucks. I don't think it's neon. The bright light sign of Starbucks was out. One of the letters, like the U or something, in Bucks, and the word Bucks was out. And he said he had a choice to make. The first thing he could have done is call the manager of that specific Starbucks and tell them that the light was out. But what he chose to do instead, and what I do, is instead think about this one question. When something's going wrong, think, was it the person or the process? Meaning, for the Starbucks example, did we have a process in place where lights weren't supposed to go out and somebody screwed up? Meaning, was it the person? Or is there no process in place for how to make sure lights don't go out? And for Schultz, it ended up being the process. They fixed some issue with who's checking the lights or something like that, and then the lights never went out again, as far as I know, according to him in that book. It comes down to that. So if I'm dealing with somebody on our team that is screwing up, I'm gonna feel that anxiety, that stress for a second or a few minutes, and then I'm thinking, is it the process? Meaning, do we have this outlined or not? And if we don't, we need to create a new process. It needs to be established with that person that this is the way that we're doing things, and then we do it that way. Or is it the person? Do we have the process laid out step by step, and this person is just screwing it up? And in that case, you get them out of there. You need people in the company that follow rules. And if they don't follow process, if they don't do the thing the way that you want it to be done, even if their thing gets results, they need to go. And if their thing gets results, maybe improve the process, and that's cool. Wow, you got a maverick in there that changed things up and did better. But long term, that's not sustainable. The workers in a company need to work. They don't need to innovate. It's different than a lot of the advice that I've seen, but it's what's worked in my life. It's what's worked for our companies. Number 2, delegate with no stress. How do we do it? Well, second thing is styles vary. This is like the worst way to write this. Styles vary, meaning it doesn't have to be your style. So if I ask somebody to implement an AdWords campaign, which is actually what we just did. So we just spun up AdWords optimization for simple apps. And the goal of AdWords optimization was to spend $1,000 with each of these apps, mobile chat and Facebook chat, and see if we could generate 5 to 6 times return. So we got a team member to do it. They implemented the ads, and as I was looking at the ads, there were certain things that if I was writing the ads, I would have done differently. But our click-through rates on those ads are 10% and 20% respectively, which is insanely high. So at that point, I'm just gonna accept that styles vary. We have people on our X27 team that write cold emails. Are their cold emails exactly following the way that I would write a cold email? No, they do follow our process per point 1, but the way that that process is expressed is slightly different. And I could stress myself out all day changing 1 or 2 words to make it exactly how I would do it, but theirs works just the same. There's no point in doing that. If I'm mad about a solution, I ask, is it good enough? And if it sucks, if it's not good enough, then we'll change it. And if it's something drastically different where the guy or the girl has vision, meaning they write the email in a totally different way, I will test that email unless I know that it doesn't work. We'll test it on like 5-10 people, or if somebody has an odd keyword in AdWords, we'll test it out. As long as that idea comes from originality and not from incompetence. If it's a bunch of generic AdWords keywords that I know will just cost us money, I'm not gonna test those. So I ask, is it good enough? If it sucks, we change it. And if it's just different than how I would do it or how one of our managers would do it, we leave it in place. Let those ads run. Let it be slightly different than what we would do. That's why we hire people. We hire people that are better than us so that we all get better as a team. And now, the moment you're all waiting for, number 3, which is related to that last point as well. So have patience. This looks like the text, if you've ever played the game Portal, where like you crawl into like a little hole and a prisoner has been trapped in this hole for years and they're just like scratching on the wall. That's what my handwriting looks like. Maybe I should start studying calligraphy. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Should I study calligraphy? Perfect Japanese text. I don't even know a single Japanese character. I was trying to draw one right there. I will draw a little bit. Oh man, I am distracted. Perfect. This is a whoa hello right here. Yeah. That is a goddamn whoa hello shirt, if I ever did see one. If you want to buy this shirt, let me know down in the comments. Which is what you should have had while I was drawing that. All right, did you skip ahead? Have patience. The first thing is people take weeks longer than you'd like, even when a system's optimized, to get things done. And part of being a good manager is knowing when it's been too long and knowing when to follow up. So for instance, when we rebuilt our sales team a couple weeks ago, we got rid of Austin, we hired a new sales trainer, and his goal is to build a system where we'll have callers in there, we'll have new sales guys in it, all as part of a bigger optimization process with X27 as a whole, where we're becoming a machine, basically. Instead of a family company, a family agency, more like parts in a machine. So that takes a lot of systems creation and systems optimization, but people take weeks to implement. It took us 3 weeks to get our sales system going. Now it's going, now we're generating income. But that was 3 weeks where I was on top of Robert every day, like, hey, why aren't we doing this? What's going on? And he had to talk to me. He's like, man, I got other shit to do also. And he does. He's running our production and making sure our clients are successful. And that's something you give up by having a team. You give up those instant results and you trade them for consistency. Because I am a starter, I'm an entrepreneur, meaning I'm pretty good at blasting work out. I am less good at consistently doing work that needs to be done over time. My mindset, and actually the mindset of all good managers, is if we have a system in place that works and it's doing the same thing over and over again, that's when we hire someone else to do it. That was what I was talking about to Div as well. If we know that you're always gonna follow these 3 steps and then our email newsletter is gonna be great, hire somebody to do those 3 steps and then use your brain, your smart managerial brain, to go do something else. Even if things do end up taking a little bit longer or the quality is different. The other thing I learned is once the optimization is made, messing with a system past a certain point will break the system. So a lot of being a CEO or being a manager is sitting around and not pinging your team. This is one reason why I run multiple companies. It's to distract me. While X27 is improving and the team is implementing everything that we talked about, I can go work on simple apps, or I can go work on Whoa Hello or make a movie or whatever. And the reason why I do that is, one, because that stuff is very fun to do, but also because if I pinged Robert too much, or if I hit Div up with Slack messages too many times in a row, he's gonna burn out or he's gonna run around in circles. As a manager, it's good to have the insight, give the team enough time to implement, and then give feedback if the process isn't being followed. But if process is being followed, then it's only worth talking to the team once a week, maybe once every couple days, just to make sure they're still engaged with the job. But the vast majority of my time as a manager is spent actively stopping myself from talking to my team. Because I found the more that I talk to the team, the more confused they get and the worse they do. Running a cold email campaign is one of the easiest ways, one of the most straightforward ways I've found to get new clients. We've used it to match with most of the Fortune 500 for our agency clients and a lot of billion-dollar brands we've been able to sell. We've generated millions of dollars of revenue just from cold email. The problem is if you've tried cold email, it's not as straightforward and as easy as it looks. But luckily, we have put together the cold email optimization checklist, and you can have it for free. What this is the internal tool we use to optimize our cold email campaigns. This checklist will teach you or your team when to rewrite the subject line, when to rewrite the body of the email, what to put in the body of the email, how to check the email to make sure there's no errors before the send goes out. All of that in a very straightforward checklist, and you can have it for free. To get it, go over to experiment27.com/checklist, and you can have that download. Again, the URL is experiment27.com/checklist. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know, do you got any questions about this process? What are your biggest worries when it comes to delegation? Let me know. Like this video to encourage more content like this, and subscribe if you haven't already. We do videos 3 times a week, all about sales training, marketing, and business. I'm Alex Berman. Thanks for watching.